It's midweek. Welcome to Business Incorporated, coming to you live from Lagos, Nigeria. Thank you for joining us. I'm Chimeze Obi Iwagu. On the program today, South Africa's competition watchdog launches an investigation into 3 drug companies accused of overcharging for cancer medicines. Ghana's annual consumer price inflation falls to 12.6% in May from 13% the previous month. Plus, Zimbabwe to issue a 3-year $50 million bond to finance irrigation infrastructure. Let's get started now with the markets, starting off in Africa and here in Nigeria. The equities market rebounded at intraday after 2 days of fall. Now, the all-share index is trading high at 0.23%. The market in South Africa is also trading up despite the country's downgrade by Moody's and the news that the business confidence fell deeper into negative territory in the second quarter to a level not seen since the 2009 recession. Looking at those numbers now, we can see the JSE index going up 0.60%. Egypt, on the other hand, dropped down 0.13%, while Kenya closed in the green 1.67% on Tuesday. In the Middle East, the stock markets there were mostly little change today, although amusement park operator DXB Entertainment led Dubai higher, and Dana Gas continued its surge in Abu Dhabi, while Qatar's bourse recovering modestly. Dubai's index rose 0.26% as DXBE, which has been hit by disappointing visitor numbers at its parks, climbed 6.1% after announcing a new management structure. It said strategy and business development will be incorporated into a newly structured finance function, and that John Ireland had been appointed Chief Financial Officer. Abu Dhabi's index was flat, but Dana was up 4.4% at 0.72 dirhams in heavy trade after jumping its 15% daily limit on Tuesday. It was off an intraday high of 0.77 dirham. The company proposed on Tuesday restructuring a $700 million of outstanding Islamic bonds at much cheaper rates. And today it said it had obtained an injunction in a Sharia court blocking claims on its existing sukuk. Saudi Arabia's index edged up 0.54%. Gulf Union Cooperative Insurance added 2.6% after jumping its 10% daily limit on Tuesday, when it said it had cut its accumulated losses to 20% of capital from 33.5%. Qatar's index, beaten down by the economic sanctions against Qatar by other Gulf Arab states, rebounded 1.04% in a broad-based rally. Now, 23 stocks gained and only 7 dropped there. And investors in Europe are cautiously awaiting the latest monetary decision by the U.S. Federal Reserve. Of course, a number of economic data are also out on the streets. Let's bring in now my colleague Orich Bats to talk through those numbers. Hello, Orich. Thank you very much for joining us today. Now, a raft of economic data out today, the Euro area employment figures, the industrial output, Germany May inflation, and of course, U.S. Fed Chief Janet Yellen FOMC press briefing. Squeeze all of these together for us.
People are urgently waiting for Janet Yellen to take the stand and to report on the outcome of the Fed meeting, although that's a couple of hours away, so people are a little bit anxious ahead of that. But they have good news to trade on in the meanwhile. That Eurozone data came in quite favorably. Employment in the Eurozone as high as it's never been. It reached a record high. The unemployment in many countries, for example, southern countries, is still uncomfortably high, especially among youth. But that's good news, as is the industrial output, which rose by an unexpected margin in the month of April. And inflation coming down in Germany at a rate of 1.5%, if you look at it annualized. that is in comparison to last year. That's a figure that's down. It doesn't point to terrible active economic activity, but experts still put that down to lower energy prices. So in a way, that's good news as well. What does all this spell? A record high in the DAX. 12,900 points were topped today. One got up to about 80 points shy of the 13,000 level. And I think everybody here in this room, the traders here below me and around me, are expecting that 13,000 is now no longer very difficult to reach here in Germany.
Sure, we can see that behind you, even though the DAX was tilted up, but as we are speaking, the DAX seemed to be tilting down. So just wondering what could be pushing DAX down now. But let's look at the French president's comment recently, Emmanuel Macron, which of course has been quoted as saying that the UK is more than welcome to remain in the EU if London changes its mind. How is this statement being interpreted by businesses, investors, and traders?
I think as wishful thinking. It's not having much an effect on the share prices here, but of course people are occupying themselves with this thought. And it's quite clever of Emmanuel Macron to say something like that now before the second round of the parliamentary elections in his country. He's, in a way, slipping into a leadership role, perhaps a co-leadership role, perhaps a leadership role with Angela Merkel, the German chancellor, taking some pressure off her to always lead the way in things European. But, of course, most people don't give the UK giving up on a Brexit much chance.
Thinking you're saying, otherwise it's not going to happen. Well, in the corporate world, the chief of the German Antitrust Commission has rejected government's plans to rescue Air Berlin. What will this mean for the airline? And is this piece of news for Lufthansa to watch closely?
Yeah, I think Lufthansa would like to take over Air Berlin, or a lot of parts of it that it finds attractive for itself. But there is that hurdle of a cartel, yes, that it would have to achieve. Might be possible, but because of the political nature, because of the social consequences if Air Berlin went bust. But there's another question which might prevent Lufthansa from grabbing Air Berlin, and that's the high debt load, over €1 billion. And so far Lufthansa has said, Etihad, please take that, and then we will look at Air Berlin. The options for Air Berlin are running out, and time is running out. It's piling up huge amounts of losses and debt, and it's looking at state money. But state money, it's contingent on a viable business model. And most people who know Air Berlin, who analyze the company, agree there's no viable business model visible there, at least today.
All right, thank you very much, Ulrich. Let's keep a date tomorrow.